Have you ever seriously asked yourself, why is it that despite all your intelligence, all your knowledge, all your hard-won experience, you still keep getting manipulated? You might be a person of strong will, someone relentlessly committed to self-improvement, yet you constantly feel like you are being led, being exploited, or worse, profoundly misunderstood by the people around you. This isn't a failure of intellect or even morality. This is the tragic result of a single, deadly blind spot that almost all of us share. What is that blind spot? It lies right there in the simple answer offered by the great behavioral strategist, Robert Greene. People are not observant, they are in their own shell. We don't actually see, we only reflect. Imagine you are living inside a glass bubble. You look through it, the world appears clear, but everything you perceive about others has been subtly distorted by your own inner lens. You see only what you want to see, what you project, not the human being truly standing in front of you. When you fail to truly see them, you cannot truly understand them, and when you fail to understand them, you become their puppet, whether their actions are intentional or accidental. Stoicism teaches us to confront others with both kindness and strength. But how can you be truly kind or truly strong if you don't even see who they really are? In this deep dive video, we are going to strip back 5 core principles. This is the key not just to stop being manipulated, but to becoming an individual of profound, authentic influence, a true Stoic master. Let's begin. 1. Breaking the glass bubble of emotional blindness. Robert Greene observes, we don't actually see who others are. We only see the reflection of our own fantasies or our own projections. This bitter truth summarizes the very nature of emotional blindness. When you walk into a conversation, what is your mind truly busy doing? It's scrolling through a script of your own making. Does this person like me? What should I say next to sound intelligent? Are they judging my clothes? We arrive at dialogue with an internal monologue, so loud it drowns out every subtle signal the other person is emitting. The truth is, the person opposite you is constantly giving out signs of their likes, their aversions, their core values. They are showing you their internal map, but you are so preoccupied with your own map that you miss every critical direction. This lack of observation is the ultimate failure of self-mastery for a Stoic. Epictetus taught, "The man who is incapable of watching what is happening in his own life is an uneducated man." If you fail to perceive the motives of the person across from you, you cannot distinguish what is within your control, your reaction, and what is not, their behavior. We must begin by simply admitting we are bad at dealing with people. This is the supreme Stoic humility, accepting the current weakness to pave the way for improvement. And the key is baby steps. Instead of instantly trying to become some great, masterful listener, you must start with daily experiments. Formal observation drills. I want you to adopt a specific challenge. Let's call it the 10-minute scanner. When you meet someone you usually find boring or difficult, which forces you out of your comfort zone. Step 1. Set the intention. For the first 10 minutes I will completely mute my internal monologue. Force your mind into silence. Step 2. The non-verbal scanner. Don't just listen to the words. Become a sophisticated scanner. Observe their eyes. What topic makes them light up? Observe their body language. Are they relaxed or tense when you ask about their past? Crucially, learn to distinguish the fake smile, just the mouth, from the genuine smile, the one that alters the eyes and lights up the whole face. The genuine smile is the window that reveals what truly makes them happy. Through these small steps, your goal is simple: to glean some information, some nugget, about their character that you never understood before. This delicate observation is the highest Stoic act, separating event from judgment. When you observe objectively, you are no longer judging, "This person is boring." You are merely collecting data. This separation is your power against manipulation. 2. The root cause: modern anxiety and negative introversion. If observation is so simple, then why don't we do it? There are two critical reasons, tightly bound to the dynamics of modern society. First, the anxiety of logistics and competition. Robert Greene calls it plainly, "Life is difficult in this modern world. We're absorbing too much information on our phones. And it's a very competitive world out there." Second, the fear of judgment. We're worried about how we look and how they are judging us. Let's put this under the Stoic lens. The world is forcing us into a negative introversion. We are constantly thinking about our own anxieties, our to-do list, our problems. Our energy is utterly overloaded with information, leaving us no capacity to truly open up to another human being. We are not turning inward for Stoic self-examination. We are turning inward for anxiety and logistical triage. Furthermore, the worry about how they are judging me is the very root of unhappiness. A Stoic knows that others' opinions of you are outside your control. By desperately trying to manage their judgment, you are handing your power away. We are busy hiding our weaknesses and building a perfect image, what the Stoics call the persona, the social mask. While wearing that mask, we cannot see authenticity in others, because it would threaten the pretense of our own. So, how do we escape this toxic internal focus? The Stoic method is, step outside of yourself and find others more interesting than yourself. This is an incredibly powerful soul-healing technique. When you shift your focus from anxiety about yourself to curiosity about others, you achieve two things. You reduce the burden of your own worry, and you amplify your influence. Curiosity is the antidote to self-obsession. When you genuinely find others more interesting than yourself, you elevate them to the position of the important person, and that authentic attention immediately opens the door to communication. I challenge you with the Stoic student exercise. The next time you enter a conversation filled with worry, imagine you are a Stoic student, and the person across from you is the science you must study. You have no right to judge, you only have the right to learn. This is how you reclaim inner control, not by fighting anxiety, but by redirecting its energy toward curiosity. 3. The golden principle, the contagious power of mood. We are, at our core, animals, deeply vulnerable to the emotions and moods of others. The truth is, another person's emotion is the aftershock we must learn to manage. A Stoic understands that you cannot stop the emotional storm, for instance, a depressed friend, but you can control your vessel, your energetic reaction. Mood is powerfully contagious. When someone visits you in a depressed state, your energy level tends to drop. Conversely, there are people you meet whose very presence instantly makes you feel happy, a natural smile, a relaxed ease. This is the golden principle of influence. You persuade others by infecting them with your mood, not merely through your words. Words are just the surface. Energy is the true depth. Visualize the energy bridge. When your mood is strong, when you possess that stoic calm, that unwavering self-trust, you build a stable bridge. Anxiety and insecurity, however, create a shaky, unreliable crossing. The most charismatic figures, like Errol Flynn or Duke Ellington, didn't need to speak volumes. They only needed presence. They were so relaxed, so comfortable in their own skin that their composure osmosed into others, melting away all defenses. If you encounter a toxic person, instead of fearing them, apply the Stoic technique of objective perception. View them as a scientist studying a mineral sample. Analyze their mood as a natural phenomenon, without judgment, to prevent yourself from absorbing their toxicity. This is how you reclaim inner control, by holding your energetic ground so you cannot be negatively infected. 4. Breaking the perfect mirror, the inner enemy. If you want to read others, you must first read yourself. Green points out that we suffer from the self-denial syndrome. We vehemently deny our own dark side traits like aggression, envy, narcissism. We look in the mirror and only see our idealized version, the perfect mirror. The truth is, we carry both the angel and the demon inside us. Self-honesty is not self-punishment. It is the single most courageous act of a Stoic. Seneca said, "The first condition of happiness is to be honest with yourself." If you are honest with yourself, you immediately become more humble and far less judgmental of others. Every time you judge someone else, they're stupid, they're lazy, you are elevating yourself above them, and that superiority is usually unjustified. The Stoic accepts, "I too am flawed. I too am vulnerable to manipulation." Look at the extraordinary example of the Russian author, Chekhov. Despite growing up in a miserable environment, an abusive father, a toxic family, he chose to accept and love them. He couldn't control his father's behavior, but he controlled the meaning he assigned to that behavior. He chose empathy. My father was abused, so he abuses, over sheer resentment. By changing his inner attitude, Chekhov fundamentally shifted the social dynamics and the lives of his entire family. This is the perfect proof of the Stoic principle. Acceptance is not passivity. It is the most powerful mastery of social dynamics. 5. The ultimate strategy, the need for validation. Acceptance and self-awareness lead us directly to the ultimate strategy for influence, which centers on the core need of every human being, the need for validation. Everyone possesses a self-opinion, built upon 3 universal pillars. 1. The need to feel autonomous, that they are not being manipulated. 2. The need to feel intelligent, and 3. The need to feel like a good person. When you challenge any of these 3 pillars, you are striking at the very core of their personality, triggering extreme defensiveness, shutdown, and even deep hatred. But here is the great secret. The number 1 human need is to feel validated. We can feel good about ourselves internally, but if that feeling is not confirmed by others, we still feel profoundly empty. So, how do you fulfill this need without being seen as a flatterer? Flattery is an act of manipulation because it violates the other person's autonomy. They know what you want. Genuine validation is a Stoic act of goodwill. The best approach is to confirm qualities that no one else praises them for, or perhaps points about which they feel insecure. For example, instead of praising a politician's cunning, which everyone knows, praise their values. You won this race because you will use this power to do great things for the community. You are validating their good person quality. Finally, master the strategy of reverse psychology by learning to go with their resistance rather than confronting them directly. Remember the story of the rebellious expelled student. If you simply ordered him to do the homework, you are challenging his autonomy. But if you tell him, the teacher wants you to fail, you study to prove him wrong, you shift the motivation from obedience to self-sovereignty and revenge, which is still their choice. This is how you gain influence without bruising their pride. In summary, the key point is self-awareness, knowing your own weaknesses, knowing your true motives. Self-awareness is the greatest Stoic action. It allows you to master your inner world and truly read the world outside. Conclusion. We have traveled the entire path from recognizing that we live inside that self-imposed glass bubble to uncovering the deepest strategies of influence and perception. Remember this core truth. Stoic self-mastery is not about isolation, it is about perfect engagement. Here are your 3 immediate directives. 1. Stop judging. Start observing. 2. Control your energy to create a positive aftershock in every room you enter. 3. Feed the human need for validation to forge unbreakable, authentic connections. Hold tight to this final piece of counsel. Admitting your own imperfections is the greatest act of humility. When you know you are vulnerable to manipulation, you finally begin to pay attention. If these principles have truly opened your eyes, if they have fundamentally changed how you see the world, then please gently tap the like button to signal that this message matters. And subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss the deep insights we bring you here at the Stoic Path. But before you go, I want you to make a commitment. In the comments below, simply write the phrase, "I am scanning." That's your pledge, a simple, active promise to turn that curious inner gaze outward. Thank you for watching. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.